Okay. This past week, the conservative justices on the Supreme Court just took away one of our civil liberties guaranteed by the Fourth Amendment of the Constitution, the right to be free of unreasonable search and seizure. They verified that it's okay for police to strip search someone even for a minor infraction. The plaintiff was a man who had a traffic stop, and it found out that it was erroneously recorded that he owned a traffic fine. He was strip searched before that was found out, and the justices said that that's a reasonable search. So to me, when conservatives talk about liberty, they're not talking about liberty for you and me. That's my opinion anyway.
Hello, I'm Allison, and I just think I'll comment for a moment about Social Security. There are some threats to Social Security in Congress right now. They are talking about, well, the Republicans mostly, and certainly the Democrats are mostly not for this. But there's discussion of changing Social Security so that it would be a voucher system, and you would choose among a number of private insurers, and you would get vouchers, and the system would be such that you would wind up getting less and less coverage with time, and it would essentially end Social Security as we now have it, which I think is a very poor idea. And I can speak to the benefits of Social Security. I needed to retire from the University of Washington because my job was no longer funded. We lost our grant. And fortunately, I was just the age when I could start taking Social Security. That age keeps going up, but I made it. And Social Security is essentially what keeps me going. I don't have very much retirement from the University of Washington. I didn't work there for years and years, like some of my coworkers did. And so primarily what I live on is Social Security. If I didn't have that, I would be on the dole, and I don't think that's such a great idea. And I paid into Social Security for years. So anyway, and we're all paying into Social Security for years. We all should get it. And it is funded completely through, well, sometime in the next decade or two. And there is a very simple solution to funding Social Security so that it's completely solvent. And that is scrap the cap. The way we have it now, people pay into Social Security at a certain rate, up to, I forget exactly how much, but some rather high wage, and then they stop paying into Social Security. And that's known as the cap on earnings before, you don't pay anything into Social Security after a certain point. And that's really unfair, I think. The rest of us are paying a proportionate amount. And it would also, if we scrapped the cap and had everybody paying in at the same rate, regardless of income, it would not only fully fund Social Security into the indefinite future, it would also allow us to make it even better. So that's my message for today.
The 2010 Citizens United Supreme Court decision. Citizens United versus Federal Election Commission. It's the reason why you have super PACs. Originally, the decision or the case was brought in 2008 because Citizens United wanted to show a movie called Hillary the Movie. It was very critical of then presidential candidate Hillary Clinton. And there was a law in place, the McCain-Feingold law, which not only limited how much money you could give to political campaigns, it also said you couldn't show electioneering movies like Hillary the Movie within 60 days of an election, so they brought suit. The case wasn't decided until well after the election, but while the Supreme Court looked at it, they decided that, well, not only could they have shown the movie, and henceforth can show movies at any time during an election campaign, We think all this other stuff in there about limits on campaign contributions is a lot of hooey too, so we're throwing those out. So, because the case was not about campaign contributions, but was about being able to show a movie, there was no evidence presented in the case about the corrupting influence of money in politics. So essentially, that decision was rendered with no evidence in support or against it. So as a result, now we have super PACs. You go to the New York Times website, Google super PACs. It'll show you all the major super PACs, how much money has been contributed by each one as the filings are made with the Federal Election Commission. The current leader is the super PAC in support of Mitt Romney. I forget what the exact current total is. But moving up fast, and now in second place, is a super PAC in support of no particular candidate. It's called American Crossroads. And in case you don't know who that is, you're about to find out, because they're about to inundate your TV watching with ads critical of Democrats and in particular the President of the United States, probably about every 5 minutes. So when you see the name at the end of a commercial, this is paid for by Crossroads GPS, that's Karl Rove. And they use what they are hoping will be at least $300 million to spend in this campaign on ads to defeat Democrats, and in particular the president. Now, what concerns me is that there are only about 3 things being considered for dealing with this right now. One is there are a number of groups, including Move to Amend, Public Citizen, Common Cause, and a few others that are trying to get support for a constitutional amendment to overturn the concepts that were used to make that decision, that the Supreme Court ruled that spending money for electioneering purposes was the same as free speech. Since you can't limit free speech, you can spend as much money as you want. They further expanded that by saying in Citizens United itself that corporations are essentially people. And so, and they have the same rights of free speech as people, and since money is free speech, they can spend as much money as they want. And oh yeah, trade associations like American Petroleum Institute, like the Pharmaceutical Research Manufacturers Association, and trade unions like Service Employees International and so on, all have those same rights to spend as much money as they want. And that's why you're seeing so many really wacky commercials on your TV screen between now and this November. The only other 2 things that are even being tossed around about doing something about this are, it's been discussed that Congress could actually pass a law removing any jurisdiction from over elections or campaigns from the authority of the Supreme Court, and that would cause a constitutional crisis. But if you read the Constitution a certain way, it's perfectly legal. But nobody's really making a move to do that. The other move that could possibly do something about this is to bring a similar case to Citizens United before the court, introducing evidence about the corrupting influence of money in elections, and retry the case and possibly get the decision reversed. It's possible that the decision affecting the state of Montana could bring that to bear before the court before too long, but it's not entirely clear. It's not entirely clear if the case will be heard by the court or if, in fact, they would rule properly on that. It is interesting to note that the Democratic Party, or in fact no political party, has a strategy in place for dealing with this. There is no strategy. No one's doing anything about it except these groups trying to pass the constitutional amendment. They're getting no support other than an occasional lip service from the leaders of this country. This is something we've got to do, and we've got to do it soon, or the super PACs and the few millionaires and billionaires that drive them are merely going to pick and choose their racehorses, and our political system and the rest of us are going to be largely left out. Have a good day.
Well, we seem to have an American empire, and empires are fueled by their exploits of other countries and other people. Like the Romans had all of Europe, and Belgium had the Congo, and Britain had India, and they exploited their conquest in the empire. Well, our empire is exploiting to that 99%, because that's how we're supporting all of our wars and bases and our worldwide military conquest. So I think the 99% had better get active and stop supporting this empire. Thank you.
Fighting for peace is like eating more to weigh less. Nice concept, but it can't be done.
You got the flu? Oh, yeah. You can pick it up at the hospital.